In the later years of elementary school, I was the kid almost over-involved in school. In 5th grade, I thought that after becoming a safety, a news reporter, lead in the school's play, and SCA president, a lot of people would dislike me. I was right. In middle school, it was my friends that disliked me, and we all fought so often, we all seemed to dislike each other. In high school, it's the only people that have openly disliked me are the teachers who might think I'm too talkative, my parents when I never seem to be home, and the TikTok comment section of me ranking Taylor Swift songs. We've all had similar experiences, maybe felt disliked by a classmate, a teammate, a family member. Luckily, I know that usually if someone dislikes me, it's because of my actions and not because of a stereotype. Unfortunately, people of color, the LGBTQ+ community, immigrants, and so many other groups experience hate for nothing. I often have trouble to openly claim to be a Christian when I know that several Christians are responsible for suppressing these people. Some Christians might be the reason an LGBTQ+ person left the church, might be the reason that a person of color feels unwelcomed. As Jesus tells us to love our neighbor, I find it difficult to love my neighbor who does not show love to others. Even more difficult is it to show love to someone who doesn't show love to you personally. I often forget that Jesus grappled with this exact same issue. Jesus, a Middle Eastern man, a carpenter, one who walked in a robe and sandals, was hated by a lot of his community. Despite healing the sick, helping the blind see, feeding the 5,000, and so many other miracles, many still disliked him. An outlier, he was one who hung around sinners and tax collectors and prostitutes, and one who claimed to be from God, which many Jewish leaders could not grapple with, and they eventually put Jesus to death. John 17:14 reads, "I have given them your word, and the world has hated them because they do not belong to the world, just as I do not belong to the world." Jesus didn't belong to the world either. How could Jesus belong to this world? A world of unnecessary hate, a world of judgment and injustice, a world with a deadly pandemic that has taken millions of lives and caused us to struggle with intense isolation, grief, and loneliness. I would love to talk about how I've been a strong Christian in the past year, but I would be lying if I said I did not struggle with my faith this year. How was I to be faithful as I watched my school shut down, my favorite camps get canceled, my senior year taken away from me as I saw the number of cases and deaths from COVID rise? How could I be faithful when I was unable to visit the place that I worship God? In youth group, we often talk about thin places or places that we feel closest to God. My thin places include University, Passport, and other camps that we take each year. I had never acknowledged how impactful of a thin place River Road was until it was gone. Downstairs in the youth room, gathering with friends I have grown up with and adults that I trust, talking about God and my faith is comfortable. As COVID displaced us from the church, I was stuck in my room talking to God alone, and I cried out asking, "Where are you in this?" But what is faith without difficult questions and unexpected circumstances? In this verse in John, Jesus is speaking to his disciples, knowing that his death on the cross is approaching. As Jesus attempts to warn and comfort them, he says in John 17:11, "I will remain in the world no longer, but they are still in the world, and I am coming to you. Holy Father, protect them by the power of your name, the name you gave me, so that they may be one as we are one." Let me repeat that. So that they may be one as we are one. We are one because, as Jesus restates in John 17:16, we do not belong to the world, just as Jesus does not belong to the world. Although this sentence might sound negative, Jesus is reminding us that the realities we all face are due to sin, and he saved us for this reason. Earlier, I spoke about my struggles with my faith over quarantine, and I'm now going to conclude that story. As I watch the tragedies of a highly politicized time, a pandemic, and something none of us have experienced before, I'm reminded by Jesus that since we are all one, I am never alone. In small ways, I began to watch as Jesus answered my prayers. I saw this in my friends and I hanging out outside in 40-degree weather just so we could see each other. I saw it in my teachers being mindful of the workload we are experiencing. I saw it in my family celebrating Christmas virtually. I saw it as I've gotten my vaccine and watched the world slightly begin to turn to normal. I'm going to conclude us in prayer if you would like to bow your head or however Jesus is calling you to pray. Jesus, we know we do not belong to this world. Our world is tainted with sin and hate, and the struggles of our faith impact us daily. You remind us in John 17 that we are one, and we must protect each other from the negative aspects of this world. Let us strip down our anger, our sadness, our fear and misunderstanding, and show love to one another because we are all in need of it. Amen.